Good afternoon. It is, or should I say morning, evening, wherever you are in the world. It is Wednesday. For those of you who are in the chat already, I say welcome. Let me know if you can see me and hear me so that I feel good about the technology and then we can be good to go. As I wait for that confirmation, I will say hey to the folks in the chat. I see that John was here and then escaped. That's electronic earnings. And then I see Sonia and Keith and Joanne and Jasper and Margaret. What is up? Hello, friends. It is good to see you in the chat, to know that you are there. So it is Wednesday and another week has gone by, and I cannot believe that it is February 2nd already. And what's funny is right now, this always happens, and I don't know if it's a YouTube thing, but I jump on and there's a bunch of people waiting. And then as soon as I go on, the little people thing goes down to like nothing. And then it slowly climbs up again. It's really interesting to watch that like expand and contract as I speak. It does some things, some uncomfortable things to your confidence when that happens. Oh, and I see the notification going out only a minute after the fact. YouTube's telling me that I'm live streaming. Thank you, YouTube. Saying hello to Nataraj and Alexander. Hello, friends. Welcome. So let me know if there's something that you want to talk about today. I mostly am doing accountability today because I need to get super jazzed to get some work done in the next couple of weeks. For February for me has been, you'll confuse everybody by saying that it's February 2nd. Did I already say February 2nd? It's February 9th. Did I say the 2nd? You can see that already I'm like not with it here. This is my coffee cup today. I drink cold coffee, not warm coffee most of the time. So it doesn't have to be in a mug, but there's a lot of it today. Keith says, I'm always impressed by how tidy your desk is. And what's funny about it is that you cannot see my desk. So how do you know that? Basically what I do to get ready for streams is I take all my kids' stuff and I go like this. And I take anything that looks like untidy and I go like this. And then you have no idea what is there. So it looks tidy. The key word is look. Unless you're talking to someone else who has a tidy desk, because that certainly is not me. Oh, Zach, what's going on? So this month so far has not been good as far as getting stuff done. I had a pretty good January and I was like rolling along in January, and then February started, and part of it was that the beginning of January the beginning of February didn't line up that great with like my personal life and my personal obligations as far as my children. So I'm going to blame it on that and use today as sort of a jumping off point to getting a lot of stuff done. The goal for the month was to publish as much as possible on the Mega site, and then also to do 15 articles for the fight site and 29 for Icarus. The Icarus articles for the Otis case study project, that one, the articles are taking a long time. So that appears, I'm staring at a lot of work. Not gonna lie, I'm starting to think about moving to outsourcing that work sooner than later because it's just not getting done. I was supposed to get 25 done. I think 24, 25 done for Icarus in January. I'm just gonna go look because I have it right here. I'm in the spreadsheet. Yeah, 25, and I only got, I think, 19. I do plan to make the video for that update in the next couple of days, so you will see it, but I will spoil the surprise and say that nothing is indexed, nothing is indexing, and I'm not worried about it. I'm not concerned, but for me, I think that answers the question of, well, I don't think it answers the question. So the question of, can I use an age domain, or, one of these premium age domains to jump over the Google sandbox to avoid indexing issues? And I think the answer is yes, but so far 5 weeks in, that hasn't happened. And I don't even think I'm in the sandbox per se. I think that there is some trust issues. I think Google is like looking at the new content and still thinking like, this doesn't look like the old content, so we're not going to do anything with it yet. So needless to say, the update for Icarus will not be like roses and like fireworks, like kapow, 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 kapow. Uh, does that mean that age domains don't work? No, I don't think so. And frankly, this whole thing could change in a matter of like one day. So I'm still hopeful. I still have my fingers crossed. I'm still going to continue to work on that project because I do think that the articles are going to index and I do think it's going to be better than a fresh domain. I'm just sort of waiting to see what will happen. And I'm not honestly doing a ton, right? Like I'm not going out there and trying to get links or to really do much else. I'm kind of just curious to see organically, naturally, what happens with it and when, because I just want to know. So checking the chat, Eric says hello, and then he starts the with a thumbs up, which super appreciative, super appreciated. So folks who are in the chat, there's a small group today, and that is okay. I think it will grow as we get going, but this is my chance to call out and say, hey, how was your week? Please tell me that you had a better week than me and got more done. I am looking at the Icarus spreadsheet now. And first of all, I am impressed by the amount of activity that has gone on in the sheet while I've been, I don't want to say off, but like taking a little break to spend time with my children. And I'm also really appreciative of the blue column that says, the cheer on your friends column. There is a lot of commentary and posts in and like notes in there. And I think that's one of the really fun parts about this community, that project, like doing it this way, because yeah, it's just like it gives you a chance to interact with folks. Now, one of the things I was going to say, and that I'm willing to facilitate, especially because I was talking so much about this on Carl's stream, is that if there are people who really want to get in, I hate the word mastermind, but want to get into a monthly or a twice monthly like meetup group. I don't think that I have time necessarily to jump into a bunch new of these things, but I can help facilitate creating those. And frankly, I think that anybody who is in the Icarus spreadsheet who's motivated enough to come to the stream and then go to that spreadsheet should try to reach out and find some people to meet up with at least once a month on Zoom. It's like Google Meet, like one of these free things. I really think it makes a difference. Like I really think it makes a difference in the whole experience. So if there are folks out there who are even in the chat who say, yeah, I'm looking, I would like to start one of these meetings or participate in one of these meetings, drop it in the chat and let us know so that we can start looking for a group for you. I really think it makes a difference. So that is me on my high horse about that. I will also want to shout out Soren. Soren sat through my I'm not special rant last week. And for those of you who suffered through the I'm not special rant last week, I guess I apologize for the rantiness. I have not gone back to watch or listen to the stream from last week. There was the ranting. Um, but Soren went in the Icarus spreadsheet and created a meme. So if you're in the spreadsheet, you can see it, but it's in my column above day 15, and it's a picture of like a fancy car and me and my dog, like Christmas dog sweater, with the like the open mouths with the hats with like, and then it says I'm not special on it. And so Soren, if you're live on this or catching the replay, thanks. I hope everybody else can get a laugh out of it. Let's see. Pete says, don't think it's not indexed because of the age domain. It's not indexed because Google isn't indexing right now for many people, period. Does confirm age domain, not overriding indexing issues. Interesting. Yeah, the data will play out. Let's see how it goes. I think part of the reason is that the domain, this Otis case study age domain thing, so there was the original site, right, with the original content, and then Otis picked it up but they didn't maintain the original site, because they didn't own it, right? Like they didn't take the site with all its content. They just took the domain, and then they kept it indexed by parking at just like the hello page, like the standard, WordPress install. And so the hello page that is no longer on the site because I deleted it, still Google still shows that that is indexed, and then some of the original content is still getting, I mean, it's still getting traffic, which is great because then it gets redirected to the site. But those articles show as indexed, and I submitted the sitemap, and I did a conferral with the Otis folks, their tech team, just to make sure that I'm not a doofus, because let's face it, there's always a risk that I'm a doofus, right? Like I'm learning the tech over time, but you know, I might not do everything the right way, but basically they confirmed that I had done everything the right way or pretty close to it. And so there wasn't anything that I had done that was preventing those articles from indexing. So it's just a matter of waiting and continuing to work on the site and see what happens. I still think that this is a valuable exercise. I still think it is a valuable project because I want to know, right? Like there's one thing to just watch and see what everybody else does and then, comment or, analyze and speculate based upon what other people are doing. And then there's another one to jump in and see. So let's see. Uh, Keith says that he needs to do more cheering, and I concur. And in fact, I was going to say that I think everybody in our neighbor nudge today, I was going to do a shout out for a neighbor nudge. And I think everybody should scroll to the right because there's some folks over there on the right side who are doing the work. But because I think they're on the right side of the spreadsheet, people don't necessarily see their work quite as well or as often. Ooh, I see people jumping into the spreadsheet, right? I'm pointing at it because it's up right now, but I see their little like people going in there. In fact, if you're in the Icarus Project accountability group and you're in the stream right now, jump over there. Like, let me funnel you over there and go leave some comments because I think it makes my day to see them when they're on my column, and I'm sure that that will happen for other people. Jasper says his week has been slow. The writing service has been delivering steadily, but haven't been writing myself as much as I would like. I'm going to have to do some writing this month, I think. I have a bunch of articles waiting in the queue for me that need to be edited and posted with writer access. And I also need to order content for later in the month and also for next month. It's just something that I do continually. Like I like to have stuff like pending pretty much all the time to give writers a chance to pick it up and then write it and ask for extensions because I like to approve all the extensions. People are willing to do the work and they just need a little more time. I approve them all. But yeah, just to get the content done means I have to be more diligent about ordering it before I need it to make that happen. Lady D says, question, how to write articles faster? What is your process? I'm asking because it takes me several days to write one article. I think that there's a couple things. Well, there's a lot of things that can cause us to write articles really slowly. One is that we haven't written very many of them. And so the process, because it's unfamiliar, it just takes us longer to get through it. We spend a lot more time second guessing or editing or like looking for information about, what should go here and what should go here and how much should I write here. And so I don't necessarily know what is taking up the time. Is it research? Is it the writing or what? But I do know for me personally that when something is new, like there's a new task, as it's related to my websites, it takes longer. And the only way to get faster at it is just to do it more. So that's one thing. Another thing that makes me have a hard time writing is that I don't know the topic that well. So when I know the topic really well, like inside and out, like I really know the information, jamming out the article happens really quickly. So if I'm like researching, I'm in a topic that maybe isn't my strength, maybe I don't know that much, I can still write the article, I have to do the research. But if I know more about the topic going into it, then the article is still faster than it would be if I was just cold, like writing the article, not knowing things. So if you're going into a question, into a keyword, like totally cold, not knowing stuff, it's going to take a long time. It just is because you have to learn enough to get up to speed to do it. So maybe before starting the article, let's say you were going to write about fences because I see my beautiful old fence that needs to be replaced out my window. Maybe before writing the article, I should go and do just some general like reading or research or even a call with someone about fences so that when I do finally sit down to write the article, it's just going to come out more quickly. Uh, but I also feel more confident as I'm typing because I'm not like, ooh, like every sentence, like, is that right? Like, I have to check everything. And I also know the lingo, right? Like, I've already done the reading, so I know that the words are right. For me, when I do that, the article comes out more quickly. Another thing I do is left over from my days as an attorney is I outline everything. So I generally know from the beginning of the article where it will end up. So let's say I'm going to write about fence posts, right? And so what I do is I identify and lay out all of the headers from beginning to end. So all of my H2s, like H2 and then H3 and then H4 and then back. So in the end, like even if I didn't necessarily have the content to fill into those holes yet, I could read the all of the headers and I would know pretty much what the article was going to be about and kind of know the answer to the question already just by following the outline. And then when I'm writing, I don't finish a section and then like, what's next? Like, oh, I just know what is next. And you say, okay, well, I'm still struggling. You know, I've done the headers and I've done these things, and I say, okay, well, look at the headers themselves. Sometimes, especially in the beginning, you can use questions as the headers as a way to help you get through them. Sometimes if you just say, you know, fence posts, like that's your H4, and it's like, okay, like what aspect of fence posts? So what you could do is, you know, do in your keyword research, look for questions, either answer the public or answer Socrates or something, where you use the questions, the keyword questions, or the question with the keyword in it as your header, either your H2, H3, H4, whatever. And so then as you're flowing, then all you're doing is just answering that question. So my job isn't to write the opus, or is that right? The right word is not to write the epic tome. It is just to answer that question and then answer the next question, answer the next question, answer the next question. Another thing that I have started doing is setting a timer. And then we talked about it last week, but like I don't want to say racing myself, but saying, okay, I'm going to set like one of these Pomodoro, you know, study timers where for 25 minutes I will shut everything down. I shut Facebook, the spreadsheet, YouTube. I don't even listen to like anything that would be distracting me. And I say, okay, for 25 minutes, I'm going to do nothing but this thing, knowing that after that timer goes off, then I will be free to take a break and then, you know, maybe continue to work, but have, you know, check my phone or whatever. So for me, eliminating distractions is another thing that helps me get more posts done in a day. Another thing that I do that can help with content that I personally know, like if it's something that's in my brain, is I will dictate. And I will dictate to, you know, with Google Docs, even. Sometimes you have to speak slowly. It is something that you get better at over time. But I will dictate to Google Docs, and then it will bring it out. And then, you know, I can go in later and format it and move things around. But I can definitely speak more quickly than I can when I am typing. And that is another way to create more words. And sometimes also in a more website friendly way, right? Because the way we write for the web is not necessarily the way I would write if I was going to be submitting, you know, an English paper or writing a novel. Like it's different. So maybe a more conversational tone if that's appropriate for your site. So those are things that I do in order to get more content out and done. And sometimes I finally say, you know, 80 to 90% is good enough. Chris, Niche Safari Chris, will want to smack me and say, no, like, don't do that. But for me, I am not convinced yet that that going 110% on every article is the way. I think it's good, and ethically and morally we should strive always to give it our 110th percent, but I don't know yet that and in the learning period that is always necessary to succeed. Just saying. And anybody else who's got some pointers or thoughts for Lady D about getting content done more quickly, please feel free to fill up the chat. And I'm going like this because the chat for me is right here. Fill up the chat with all of your wisdom, knowledge, because mine is like limited. Eric said that he spent time with his family and plans to do work done this next week. And I'm giving you the sign of approval because our families, let's face it, for most of us, many of us, I won't say most, but many of us, is the reason we do this. So if you're going to forego time with your family now to get this done, like, I mean, we do what we have to do. And I definitely do give up some things to work on this, but you know, focusing on family, you're never going to hear me say, well, how dare you? Keith says, Soren's video was great. The lab coat for the science stuff. Yes, I have like a list of like several videos that I have not had a chance to catch up on yet. I saw Richard, who's in the Icarus spreadsheet. I saw his video that his month one video that was posted here in the last few days. And yep, so he's got the link to it in the spreadsheet. So I checked that out today. And if anybody else has a like an update video that they think I should watch, make sure to post it in the spreadsheet. I'm just giving you permission now because this will ensure that I can get to it and find it and watch it and leave a comment because I like these videos. They make me feel happy. I feel motivated by them and just surrounding myself with the energy of people who are also enthusiastic and motivated. That helps keep me going. It's not a distraction for me. Maeve said she thinks it's 12 weeks for aged versus the 7 months for a fresh domain. Well, let's see. That's the fun part about this is that we get to see. Let's see, back to indexing. Oh, there's Mersic. What's going on? It says the blogging life. I think for many of us, the blogging life is good. I had a slow start to February, so the blogging life is catching up. That is the plan for the next few days, is to get caught up and make some videos and write some content and post some content. Lady D says her problem is that she is a perfectionist.